Hey guys, Raving Viewer here. So I'm gonna try out something new for this channel, and alongside my Let's Plays, I'm also gonna do some commentaries. Because there's just some stories I like to tell you guys about. There'll be some gameplay in the background. Right now, what's playing is Resident Evil Revelations at max settings. I'm playing raid mode right now, and I have to say I really like the way the game is going. It's really fun. I like the fact Barry Burton came back in this game, which is phenomenal. He's one of the original characters from the original cast, and he's probably a fan favorite, and everyone's happy he's coming back. And I have to say, though the gameplay isn't super different from the first Resident Evil Revelations, everything plays smoother, it looks nicer, it's just overall a really fun experience. So today, for right now, I'm going to talk about, it's going to be a commentary about some weird GameStop stories. So I have 5 of them to tell you guys today. So this very first one is probably, I think, the earliest one that happened. So basically just me, I'm walking into GameStop, and I'm just sifting through the games, looking through 3DS releases, new 3DS releases, looking over to see what PC games they have there, if they had Steam cards in stock, because sometimes you go there and they have $20 Steam cards, and those are nice, but then other times they don't have any 20s, but they have a buttload of 50s. And sometimes they give you digital Steam cards, that way you don't have to have a physical card, and other times they don't. So I have no idea when I can get a physical Steam card and when I can get a digital one. Doesn't make any sense, but yeah, so basically I'm going through all the stuff, looking through all the games, and this kid walks in, and he's dressed this little short Latino kid, dressed like a greaser, like a 50s greaser. He's got the leather jacket on, the acid wash jeans. He's got whatever kind of shoes the greaser wears, I don't even know. He got gelled back hair, really dark gelled back hair. And he walks in and he's just going through all the games, going through all the bargain bin games specifically, opening them up, each single one in order. As he goes down, just pick one up, opens it up, looks inside of it, laughs, and keeps on going through all of them. So I'm just okay, whatever. So I keep on going through the new 3DS releases, going down all the rows, seeing what they have, if they have any good deals. And I turn away from the 3DS deals to go over to see what they have for used DS games. And this kid's right up in my face, and he's like, "Hey man, you know what's funny? They're trying to sell this game for me to $5. I'm like, "Okay, it's a good game. I don't know why you're complaining, because it's $5. He's like, "But look, there's no disc in this case." And that was just the biggest facepalm moment ever. Obviously there's no games inside of the physical containers they have at GameStop. You bring it up front, and the cashier puts in the game for you. Because of people like you. That's the exact reason why they don't have discs inside of the cases. Because people like you are gonna go through to check to see if they're in there. And yeah, I don't know. He might have stole it. He might want to steal the games. I don't know. He thinks he has the thug life. It's possible. I don't know. So the next story is kind of similar to this one, where it's just weird people trying to interact with me at GameStop. So this time I'm walking outside of GameStop, and I see this guy who's coming at me. He's pretty tall. He has a bunch of wires wrapped around his neck, and he's holding an Xbox One under one arm. And he just looked really shady, creepy as all hell. So I'm walking out, and he comes over and he's like, "Psst, hey boy, come here." So I go over there, and I'm like, "Yeah?" And he's like, "Hey, would you like to buy an Xbox One?" And I'm like, "No." And he's like, "Okay." Goes into GameStop, and then he goes to trade it in. I'm like, why were you asking me if I want an Xbox One? I mean, I guess he wanted to he wanted to see if he could get a better deal with me, but I'm like, okay. I mean, I don't just have $300 just laying around in my pocket, or it doesn't make any sense. I don't keep $300 around with me. It's just weird. My guess is that he sold that Xbox One, because maybe he didn't. I don't know. He just looked shady. He looked like a guy who'd steal Xbox Ones and just try to sell it to me. Maybe he didn't want to sell it in GameStop, because someone might come in and saying "Hey, did you find any Xbox Ones here? Because I lost mine," and they might find out that you stole it. It's a possibility. This other one is an ongoing thing. Every time I go into GameStop, every once in a while, this guy happens to be working here. So you walk into GameStop, and the first thing you see is this really pale guy. He's a little chubby, and he has the biggest hipster mustache you've ever seen, curled at the edges. It's insane. And then you go to see like what he's wearing. He's always wearing like a Assassin's Creed shirt or a Call of Duty shirt every single time. And he has one of those like necklace things you wear that has your like ID. It says like I work at GameStop, whatever. It has on it all your information. That way people can give you reviews on the GameStop website. And he has so many buttons on this. It's insane. So I'm sitting there trying to get past this guy, trying to get my Steam card. And all of a sudden my mom comes in and she has to have a conversation with this guy, asking where he got each individual button. And we're there for like forever, just waiting for her to leave. That way I can go home and get some games on Steam. But of course, he sat there and he explained where each individual button came from. He's like, well, this one came from Comic-Con 2014, and this one was given to me by my mother for my 30th birthday. It just went on. It was crazy. It's really annoying too. And this goes on and on and on. Every time I come in, he's like, so man, what kind of Steam games are you gonna get? I'm like, I don't know, I need to see what deals are going on. I'm talking about my PS Vita, I'm sifting around on the PlayStation store, and he's like, what game you playing? I'm like, I don't know. I mean, he's a nice guy and all. A lot of people at GameStop are nice. They're actually overly nice. It's creepy. One time they were so nice, they tricked my mom into buying a PS3. Believe it or not. And she pre-ordered like 5 games for it. It's crazy. They find a way to create like genetically the nicest people in the universe to work at GameStop. Because if you say no to them, like, you know they won't be disappointed, but that's the creepy part. The creepy part is how nice they are. It's terrifying. It ain't right. It ain't right. So this next story is, it's me and my brother, and we walk into GameStop, and the first thing we see is this like albino kid with like a blue hoodie on in the middle of the floor, just laughing. Insane. He won't stop. He sounds like the Joker. He's going nuts. And we were just like laughing at him. Like, we're not trying to laugh at him like directly, but I mean, it's kind of hard not to laugh when there's a kid in the middle of the floor spazzing out, laughing like crazy. So we're just going through the games, and he goes up to this, and this kid, I don't know what he was on. He might have been on coke. I have no idea. But this kid was like, hey man, you like Rayman? And we're like, yeah, Rayman's fun. And he's like, I love Rayman, man. He's the best. And I'm like, okay. What's your point? He's like, bye, and he leaves. I was like, okay, that's weird. And then later on that day, because one of the malls we go to has one GameStop on top of it, and then there's 2 GameStops, and they're directly under each other. So you take the escalator up one, and you go into the other one. So we walk in, and this little kid comes in. He's like, Mommy, I want Skylanders. Goes in, steals like a handful of Skylanders, goes running out. His mom has to come in just to like have him return them. I'm like, come on, you're GameStop. You're selling like consoles. You have PC parts in there. You have controllers, all sorts of games. You got credit for all sorts of online games. All those cards on that huge rack. You don't think anyone could just come in and take something? I mean, you should probably have a detector for stuff like that, because anyone could come in and just take whatever they want. But that's beside the point. It was just, I don't know, there's so many kids at GameStop. I could have a whole entire video just talking about memories about all the weird stuff kids do at GameStop, because I swear, kids at GameStop are one of the worst parts of being at GameStop. It's really annoying. One time I'm at GameStop, I said I was going to be 5 stories. You know what? I'll do as many as I want, because why not? So one time I'm at GameStop, and this little girl was such a brat. Geez, she wanted like everything. She didn't care what it was. All she knew is that when she walked out of GameStop, she wanted to have something. It didn't matter what it was. She wanted a case, 1 second. She wanted like a Skylanders action figure, even though she didn't play Skylanders. She wanted like, well, I want Mario, I want Zelda. Never played any of the other games in the franchise. That's aside the point. Like, I mean, Nintendo games doesn't really matter, but you could tell this girl wasn't into video gaming. She just wanted something because she was at GameStop and she saw some cool stuff. A bunch of other real stories. Like this one time, this kid didn't have enough money. He was like a couple cents short, and he's to get like Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. It was on its release date. It was the release of Modern Warfare 3. The place is packed. All the Xbox gamers are waiting like the world's longest line. I felt sorry for them. And the people who had the PS3 literally just walked in, paid up front, and they were done. There was in, out, boom. Like the people who had Xbox, there's so many Xbox 360 gamers in that area that literally all of them were waiting in line there. And we walked in, we got the game, and we were just like hanging around there because I mean we had nothing better to do. Our parents are off, whatever, shopping for clothes, and we're just sitting there at GameStop because at that mall there's no other shops. There used to be a comic book store. That place was nice, got shut down. Literally, I turned the corner. I'm thinking about getting, like, looking at, like, whatever comic books they have there, because it's always fun to be there. They have manga, they have manga, excuse me. They have manga, they have, like, Marvel comics, DC comics, Dark Horse comics, all sorts of comics. They have cards there, they have, like, classics, like, original prints of comics when they were released, like, in mint condition, in the casing. They have whole racks of the comics that came out that week. It was just a really fun place to be at. There was like Avengers arcade cabinets, all sorts of like video game systems. They had like Nerf guns in the back if you're into that kind of thing, which I'm not really, but basically that place got shut down, so the only place we could be was at GameStop. So we're there the whole entire time. As the line starts to short down, the last two kids in line, we're going to go get Call of Duty Black Ops, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, and basically they come in and they have like a couple of dollars, but a lot of the money they have there is straight out pocket change. So the woman's counting there, and literally they're like 5 cents short of getting the game, and they're having like a stare down with the woman. She's like, you know what? I don't care, take the game. So that's what the kids did, they took the game. Another story I had at GameStop was, what was it? I just had it, I'm forgetting it right now. Oh my gosh. What was it? Let me think. Oh yeah. No, I can't remember it. Dang it. Give me a minute. I can think of it. I'm gonna think of it. What was it? Oh yeah. This is what I was gonna talk about. So one time, I had my 2D, I had a 3DS, and over one summer I lost it, so I was pretty much all I had was my DS Lite, and I really just wanted to play games on that specifically, because after you lose your 3DS, I mean, that was like a huge like loss, so you just want to like have games to play, because you just lost like half your inventory. You lost all your inventory, actually. All your games are gone. So basically, I was playing on my original DS, and I wanted to get New Super Mario Bros. For the DS, because that game's a classic. It's a really fun one. I actually might do a Let's Play on it for like a couple of episodes. It's Mario, I mean, there's not much really to go in depth about. It'll basically be something like this, more of a commentary video with that game more as a side thing going on in the background. But I will be playing it in actual time. This is just a pre-recorded video. So I walk in to get it, and literally, I just had quarters upon quarters upon quarters. And something about DS games, when you go to GameStop, for some reason, I don't know why, but they have the need to like ramp up the prices if it's a popular title. Like if it's Pokemon, the title is never gonna drop in price. I mean, Pokemon Pearl came out like what, 2009, 2008? That game, to this date, is still like $40 at GameStop. That is criminal. That game is great, it's fun and all, but a used copy is $39.99. That's insane. So I go in, I have a bunch of quarters, going to get New Super Mario Bros. For the DS with my dad. I actually missed it. I missed going to GameStop a day before, because for some reason they thought it's a good idea. Oh, it's a Saturday, let's just close at like 6 o'clock. It's like, why? So I didn't get to go then. I waited for the whole entire day. When you're a kid, and like you in a school week, and it's like the weekend, you miss a day, that's kind of a big event, because I mean, you only get 2 days off in a 7-day radius. So I go in, and I have like, I have a handful of change, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get Pokemon, no, I'm gonna go get Mario Bros. So I go in, and then like, the guy's sitting there, and he's like counting all the quarters. He has a huge stack of quarters. He's counting each one individually, and literally, when he's like about to finish, he happens like accidentally like slip and knock over all the quarters. So we used to count them all over again. It's like sometimes, man, there's just so many crazy stories you could tell about GameStop. Another one is I'm walking through GameStop and I see two old people going across and they're just walking in line. They were an old married couple, and as they're walking, this one guy said to his wife, "Do you ever play one of those video game things?" And she's like, "I think I played the Wii once." He's like, "I never played video games. I never liked them." There's so many weird stuff that happens at GameStop because everyone goes to GameStop. Little kids, full-grown adults, teenage boys, teenage girls, everyone goes to GameStop. So you happen to run into the weirdest people. The weirdest part is when you meet up friends from school in the middle of the summer at GameStop. I remember one of my friends came in and he was wearing like a Cookie Monster hat, but he like made him look like he was high. And they were just coming around and just like fucking around at GameStop for no reason. It's like, it's just so hard to explain. Like, and then another time, my other friend came in and literally, he was just like going through all the games, like, "Oh yeah, I have this release. Yeah, man, I have this release too." And it's like going through all the games, talking about cool experiences. Like that, like, so many stories I could tell. Another one is one that's probably, it has to kind of do with GameStop, but it basically has to do with just like gameplay experience in general when I got a game. So I walk into GameStop, and right now I was going through a little bit of a retro craze. So I wanted to play some like old Nintendo games, Sega Genesis games. I walk in, I go to the PS3 releases, I see Sega Genesis collection. It was like a bazillion games for like $20. So I'm like, that's a deal. Go up, get that game, bring it home. The first game me and my brother play is Dr. Robotnik's Lean Bean Machine. And there's nothing like super wrong with that game, but when we got home and that's like the first game we played in that collection, we were like done. We played a couple other games. We ended up returning it in the span of a week. Oh, and another ripoff about GameStop is when you have DS games, no matter what they are, they always rip you off. They'll give you like $1 for a game that they're gonna resell for like $20, $30. That is criminal, okay? That's garbage. Okay, like, if you have a Mario game, no matter what Mario game it is, it could be like Mario and Luigi do taxes, and it doesn't matter. That game is gonna, like, you're gonna get a lot more money for that game. Like, you'll get like maybe $5, and then they're gonna resell it for like $40. It's annoying. It's criminal. It's asinine too. I also heard that GameStop's gonna start selling retro games, and they might amp up the price on that one, but they're gonna close up a lot of mom and shop stores, which is, I don't know, they're just more fun to go to. Like, we have one called like 134 J Street Games, and you go in there, and this place is cool. They have like all sorts of games. They have old posters. They have artists who came in and made like physical posters that are hanging on the wall. They have classic posters. They have guidebooks. They have old games from every single generation. They have Xbox games and PS2 games and stuff like that. Those are like the most, like, out of that's the one console generation that's not considered, like, it's not modern-ish, but it's not retro. So it's that weird place where not a lot of places have PS2 games. And it's just a nice place to be at. I mean, overall, when you go to a mall, the majority of stuff there is basically all clothes stores, and you're lucky if you get a GameStop in there. And when you have two GameStops, you go to both, because sometimes they have different stuff. But a lot of times, like, it depends, like, if it's a more, what's the word? Like, a lot more local GameStops have similar games. Like, there'll be some areas where they have a huge diversity of games, and a lot of times they'll have no diversity at all. It just depends. Really. And every single time you go there, the one thing they always have to ask you is there any new releases you want? Is there any new releases you want? I mean, half the time I pre-order a game, and then when I do pre-order the game, they just give me a copy that's been on the shelf. I remember I pre-ordered Kid Icarus Uprising. Love that game. It's one of my favorite games of all time. Really fun, really tongue-in-cheek, brings back a classic Nintendo character. We pre-ordered the game, and they promised you, hey, if you pre-order the game, you get the original Kid Icarus, game on the NES, and the sequel on the Game Boy, plus the new Kid Icarus, and like some other random stuff. I'm like, that's a deal. So we pre-order the game, because normally I'm not one to pre-order a game. But I decided to that one time. And it's ended up giving me games that came off the shelf. Why am I pre-ordering? If you're just grabbing the games off the shelf and handing them to me, I should be getting something extra. In fact, no one should have to pre-order a game. It just doesn't make any sense. Okay, maybe for like super popular releases, but they realize that people are smarter now. They can go, it's a different time now. I mean, back in the day when you pre-ordered a game, that meant something a little bit different. But now the fact that we have internet, we have Amazon, we have eBay, we have whatever, Craigslist, we have internet reviews and websites like that. So that way, like, you can decide whether or not you want a game or not. You can come in day 1, day 2, find out when there's new updates, whether the game's in stock in your area on the websites. They had to find a way to get you hooked in once again to play. They had to find a way to get even more money out of you just by creating pre-orders now. So now they cut out sections of the game and then they resell it to you through a pre-order, which can be annoying because you know that was made alongside with the game, and they cut it out and they made it a pre-order. It's the only way that could possibly exist, because if you think about it, it's released at the same exact time. They could have just bundled together, but I mean, I guess they have to make a little more money. So whatever. So those are just a couple of GameStop memories. Overall, I've had fun at GameStop, but the people who go there are really weird. That's all I can say. Raving Reviewer out.